Hey there, gamers. Welcome back to Cryptic Gaming. I hope you guys all been having a wonderful day. If you would give me just a second here, I want to make sure our stream is actually going live here and that you can hear me. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I've been really enjoying this Darktide Lullaby, and I was a little kind of concerned about maybe the Spirit Caller spring loader being completely worthless or whatever, but it's really not. It actually does damage against all ships. You can add more damage types and stuff, and it makes an AoE status effect. I've got all electric on mine currently, I believe, and tell you what, it does a really good job against any and all types of fleets. Of course, at night or the night phase of the game is when you're going to see those bigger. Uh, we get this saved here. There we go. At night phase, you're going to see those fleets pop up. We're going to bring that up here. Now, whenever it's dark in the map, you're going to see different fleet areas. And really, the whole map, essentially, is where you're going to be hunting this down. But you're going to hunt down the fleets that are part of the Darktide Lullaby event. So make sure you keep your spring loader on your ship. And as you destroy those, you're going to be picking up various materials such as your buoys. You can pick up over at Blackwood an hourly and a daily and run those to get these buoys here. But you're also going to be picking up a lot of the currency as well, that red, what is it called, Hope or something like that, whatever it is. But it's the event currency. You pick that stuff up, which is going to be pretty sweet to do. And you get guild marks for it. And, of course, always run your guild marks from, let me get here. I apologize, guys. I'm looking at my phone also while I'm doing this here, trying to get stuff set up. Yeah, so you get your guild marks from your 4 horsemen. There's one that spawns down here, then the 2 over here. You're going to be able to get those from running your various events. But really, honestly, one of the best ways to do it, in my opinion, is the Mega Fort Wolvenhall. Something else I noticed, and it could be just a glitch maybe within the UI settings. I don't know for sure, but I've been noticing. So I had a defense up here a few hours ago. I believe it was right here, if I'm not mistaken. And I just didn't bother getting it. Well, I'd actually kind of forgotten about it because I was running those events, and it come up and it popped up defense successful. So the only thing I can think of, is being as I didn't actually run the defense, is that this option here that allows your manufacturing fortifications to be 50% higher on your own territories. It may be running defenses when that timer runs down. It starts the defense now anyway. I don't know, like I said, I don't know for sure, but I did get rewards from it. So, and I didn't actually run the defense. It said defense successful. So apparently something's going on within that. So what I'm going to do is wait to see. Good morning there, Sermons. So I'm going to wait and see if the Spectre defense does it. It's got like 2 minutes and 4 seconds left when it starts. So I'm just going to kind of wait and see. And if it comes up defense successful, cool. If it doesn't, then maybe it's, you know, different types of defenses. This is a spectral defense, which is a little different than a normal one, but we're going to try it and see. I just wanted to give it a try now. I've been using these new Hell Serpent torpedoes. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, tell you that they are the highest hitting torpedo in the game. They are definitely not, guys. But what is really nice about it is the damage that you're able to put out with these things is just, it does pretty good, and you can actually get 50% of that damage you put out back as heals. And that's one of the things that's selling me on these torpedoes. Now, you could probably build these things in various ways that's going to give you a little bit more damage output, probably. But what I'm currently working on, and like I said, I still haven't decided what I'm going to do on the front. I've got Thunder Dragon cannons on the front now. They do with the sail ripping perk and stuff like that as well. So, but I've got the, let's see, I had to roll around on some of these a little bit and ended up getting rid of one that just wasn't rolling out right. So I did end up getting the firepower perk on the green, which is what I actually prefer. Somebody called on the, I believe it was Ed Meister, but had mentioned that, you know, the negation or whatever, you know, it bypassed negation of that. It doesn't really do anything much for the NPC ships because most of those don't have that. You're better off to try and get something else. So being it already had amplify or had flooding and burning damage, I just went with firepower to increase that. But like I say, I had one roll that one of them just would not roll out right. This one here was pretty close, and let me tell you, these things get expensive silver-wise. I'm already back down to 137 million. I was up to like, I don't know, 145 million earlier today, rolling these weapons out. I had sold a bunch of the Kufra bars, guys. If you got Kufra bars over in your warehouse, make sure that you sell those over to Rama or Skurlock, and that's going to give you the biggest bulk of silver, guys. Yeah, the rolls kill me, man, but some of them, if you look like, so we got firepower, it's 9.7. Obviously, I'd prefer a god roll. I wasn't really sold on lethal. I'm playing around with it. It does pretty good. I mean, I'll probably leave it on there. It's got 7 rolls. We're going to wait to get that extra rolls back. We'll lock in a god roll on firepower and then amplified burning once we're able to load, just roll that value itself, which hopefully is coming pretty soon. They didn't give a whole lot of notes as far as patch notes, so I didn't really have a real big video on that yesterday. And not to say that they haven't done anything. I'm loving that they have the frigate fixed where it's not doing all that weird twitching stuff, man. Just giddy about it. Well, maybe not giddy, but I am happy that it's not jacked up. So this one here, again, firepower, that lethal, I'm just not, I don't know yet. Oh, I was able to get my firepower and amplified flooding and amplified burning on that as well. And then, of course, on this rear one, I may actually swap this and that other side weapon out. So I have the amplified burning and the flooding on here as well, that firepower perk. But like I said, I managed to get for the most part, but I think on this one here, this is still salvageable. It does pretty good hitting those weak spots, man. I mean, really, 35% extra, increased weak point damage. That's nothing to thumb your nose at. So may just keep that on there. Yeah, I would love to be able to get those god builds with everything, but at least I was able to get the perks I wanted. Now, one of the things I did do over here is I went to tier 2, obviously to farm out the new thing because you get a better drop rate, and I ended up dropping, I don't know, about 7 of those new torpedoes and furnitures total. I think it was like 4 and 3, 4 weapons and 3 of the furnitures, the whatever it's called, thrust furniture. But used the points to buy some more of those torpedoes, and I'm just kind of trying to debate whether or not I want to mess with that. But I've got one of these, I've got a battle bark, I've got a few other pieces I can throw on it, but I think I'm going to stick with a frigate and a battle bark for now. The battle bark unfortunately has 3 slots on that top deck, so you're only using 3 torpedoes, so I don't know that I'm going to really stick with it. The bark does have something where it increases hills that are coming to you naturally, and it does give a little bit of a boost to that, so it could be really worth using. But I'll be honest with you, man, I've not used my bark. I used to only use battle barks at mid-seasons because everything would be so amplified. It was nice to have the healing, and you could use an AoE armor. But to me, these larger ships, and really even the schooners and stuff, they're so powerful now with a lot of the stuff that you don't really have to do all that. So that's been kind of nice. I think I've talked long enough for me to go and check keep those available. I could go and check our defense and see what it's doing there. But I wanted to get it on video just to see, because like I said, I just had kind of noticed it the other day. Okay, let's see here. I didn't see anything about it saying it was failed or completed, so I guess spectral defenses are different. Space in the warehouse. Well, for right now, what I'm doing, we'll go over to yes, it gets that way. Really, it's the weapons that take the most room. So the more ships you have, the more weapon varieties you can save, and for later use if you want to. You kind of got to reach a point where you got to sacrifice on a few things. So one of the things I used to sacrifice on is I used to only carry one type of food, and that was it. But now I carry most of the main foods, and I make a couple of the actual ingredients for myself. But as far as with the actual warehouse, one thing you can do is try to keep all foods cooked, at least to their basic form, and pick one of your preferred recipes. A lot of them do like bracing and stuff and crew to crew damage. Just pick the ones that you like the best. Obviously, you don't want to have 12 different types of these foods on here. It's like rag out's a good one to do. And then, of course, that bitter balling as well. So those are usually 2 I use. I do also pick up this Nizdi Yama. I pick that stuff up from a lot of those Helm rogues as well. So that works for me. But you don't want to take too much room of that stuff, but really it's the weapons, man. This is where it comes into, if you don't have all your ships upgraded, try to get them upgraded. Only keep high grade weapons, that real low grade stuff that we have from year one. For a lot of the newer players, y'all come in with a new set of weapons, but some of the older garbage we used to pick up a lot of trash. They used to just give all kinds of garbage, and we didn't have a viable salvage, and it was just kind of wasn't really sure what to do with it. So we just hung on to them. We started throwing them on ships to rank the levels up on our ships to go pick up pieces of 8 and stuff. And you can still use that mentality. But what I do is I like to come in here, and anything that I can build, like Brick Breaker 3, I have absolutely no need to keep that in here. This Basilisk 3s, I've got a 3 stack of them. They're not taking up much room, but I don't really need them because I've got a set of Basilisks. I've got my Fire Cauldron 3s. I don't really need to have a stack of these things. I can build them, so I go ahead and I just get rid of it, and that's what I mostly do, is get rid of a lot of the duplicates that I've got here. This is where it starts to get tricky, is declines. You have a couple of options. You could have a level 13 ship or a 14 ship where you have single ascension on weapons to get them out of the way. If you do like me, one of the reasons I actually grind here in tier 1 is so I don't end up with a bunch of weapons that are ascended filling up my junk pile. You know what I mean? Now I have a nice stack of 18 of my clients. While it is nice to drop them and they will be ascended, I dropped these from the event, by the way, in tier 2. Then I switched back to tier 1. Just so when I drop a client, I end up getting, a non-ascended here. So it stacks nightly at a thing. But I'll probably pop those on the ship later if I've got room. Foul Isles, we got quite a few of those. Pop it in. Don't really need a lot of this stuff. This is what I was playing around with. Hadn't really decided, but I don't think I'm going to be using it. So I may actually just go ahead and salvage it out. And you can usually get some of your upgrade parts back. Not always, but sometimes. So don't really need this one. Again, like I said, I don't really use these. So you just really kind of have to make a decision. So Thunder Dragon cannons, I've got like 3 or 4 ships with these things set up on them now. Still got 6 more stacked in. And I'm still buying, just stacking them up. It's a really nice demi cannon. I mean, it's hard to beat right now. I may get, I don't know, I may carry it up to 10. I'm kind of a hoarder on some things, but you got to learn where to draw the line to keep that warehouse space. So here again, while explosive demi cannons level 1, I could build the level 3, so obviously I have no need for them. But unless you're planning on keeping it for an ascension and can do the ascension now, a lot of this stuff I recommend that you just do like I'm doing now, salvage it out. You're going to pick up some stuff. You're going to drop most of these free anyway. But when it comes to purple weapons and blue weapons, it's kind of hard to pick from them sometimes. You will end up in situations like these Far Scourge 3s. Well, one, I can build them. We have a blueprint. Yes, these are double ascended, but I don't really use them. And it can potentially could give me some spare parts or some ascension modules too. So I'll go ahead and salvage the heck out of this crap. But that's really kind of where my advice to the warehouse starts and begins and ends there, guys. What you can't put on ships, go ahead and salvage. I've got a lot of variety of different things. So I've got some different Bombard 5s and stuff. I'm playing around with some builds, but these aren't going to be just removed. They're kind of playing around, but I'm at 440 now on my stuff, as you can see here. And we're up here with the torpedoes. So the Hakas, I don't run them. They're a great torpedo, but I don't run them. Hell's Gate Serpent, we've got 3 of them. We've got a few that are ascended, as you can see, that have popped in. We've got, I thought I got rid of that mess in the middle there. So we got the Hakas again, so don't need it. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at with it, is we see a lot of these weapons and armors and stuff popping up at Blackwood. And right now, as y'all all know, warehouse space is just so freaking tight. Even doing this type of stuff, it can be really tight. So you just got to kind of figure what you got to do. So I pulled Rama's Legacies off for these Hellgate Serpents. I will probably just build another ship and throw those on there. Haven't decided yet. They'll go on a ship somewhere. Maybe one of the other ones that I've got, like a Brigantine or something that's just got holding some weapons currently. But yeah, so do I need to have this Rama Legacy here? It's got 1 ascension point on it. Well, I can build these, so I don't really need it. The Shillil 3s, again, I don't really use them. I'm not saying they're a bad torpedo. It's just not one that I use. And if I need them, they're easy enough to get. Heavenly Lance, you know, could build those. I think I've got a stack of them somewhere, if I'm not mistaken. But we're going to go ahead and dump it. I could build them. Torpedo 3s, we could build those. Okay, now here's where it comes into with these spring loaders and all this kind of stuff. If you're lucky, when you come in, you're going to have a ton of mortar 2s and mortar 3s, and they will have some ascension points. This is what drops the most over in tier 2. You can actually take and just break this stuff down and get you quite a bit of materials even. There's also, are the drop rates decent? Now they're not as giving. Yeah, so if your warehouse is too full, you may end up having to come in and try to sell stuff for silver first if you can. The stuff you can't sell for silver, then you know you're just going to have to destroy or whatever. So that's one of the things that I ran into. It's been a while back now. I made the video, but I was destroying some items in the video, and so I was like, hey, you know, you can salvage those, but when your warehouse and your ships are full, you can potentially put those materials in your ships, by the way, to make some warehouse room for you to do some of this stuff, guys. Let's see here. Yeah, so this is where it's really going to start taking up even more room, is when we get down into ascending armors and stuff, which is why, like I say, most of it fits nicely in a stack. I don't typically carry a lot of ascended stuff. I will throw these on ships to get them up to level 15s. Once I determine which ones I'm going to use on my main ships, I guess you could say. Yep, no problem, man. Hope it helps out some. Like I said, there's not really a whole lot of stuff to be able to take and really give you a lot of got the new pass, didn't unlock new cosmetics. Okay, so here's what's up with the new cosmetics. I'm glad that came up. So I didn't buy the pass. I doubt, I don't know. I'm not a big cosmetic person. Yeah, I've been using the same stuff since last season. But whenever you're tabbing over, guys, you're going to that little bell. When you get to this screen, if you hit your R2 button, or you could go to lay to rest, either way, whichever is easiest for you, it's going to bring up the pass. Now, you have to earn event points just like you do within the Smuggler Pass, and you will be able to open this up. Now, obviously, you have, you know, your cell colors. You have a, it looks like there's a skin for your armor here, the Soul Spurn skin. You're going to get some of these seasonal spoil tooling favors. And this looks like a whole color as well, maybe a crew skin. Yeah, it's at a cell pattern. Now that's going to be if you buy the pass for those cosmetics. If you don't buy the pass, then you're going to get stuff like the chest here. You're going to get this little emblem. You'll get looks like this here, just so emissive, is going to be free to everybody. So or whoever opens it up. Dark iron, specialized materials. So you'll pick up some things, and again, like the cell pattern, it looks like it's opening one. Anything with a crown is premium only. So to me, the $20 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces, $20 for 5 pieces, it just wasn't worth it for me. But if it's something you're into, then I say, hey, grab them if you can, man. I'm just not a cosmetic guy, so. But yeah, so you got to come into this Darktide Lullaby event. And again, this is what the page is going to look like when you tab over to that bell at the top middle of the screen there. And you have Banish the Spectres, which is just a mission. Then Lay to Rest, you can click on here. And of course, you have your event pass if you go to the store. But what I recommend when you get to this screen, if you're on the console, hit R2, and it's going to tab you over to your event rewards here, so you can just kind of scroll through. As you can see, I've hit like level 3, so I've not even completed this thing yet, and I've been dropping weapons. So now, while it doesn't drop as freely as the Ash Breakers, guys, yeah, this is on the PS5. I also play on Xbox a lot. In fact, I play on Xbox more than I do PS5. I just used to the controller now. But yeah, so make sure that you grind this stuff out. And the amount of time it's got me to open 3 of these, I've dropped a ton of weapons and even furniture. So the furniture, from what it's sounding like, is actually pretty sweet to have on your Vidars and your Brigantines. I've not been able to, you know, or not taken the time, not that I haven't been able to. Yep, you can add me on in there too. It's just Cryptic Gaming 723 Let's see here if I can bring that up for you here. Yeah, so as you can see, the little name up there. So, yeah, I think I'm, 356 on the Kingpin ship now. I'd quit playing there for a while. And, I don't know. We got a guy that's maxed out completely, Triton. He's completely maxed out on this thing. And then it sounds like a couple of those guys that are in the Discord are 900s and higher. You know, they're getting pretty close to rounding their stuff out. Now, what happens when you round it out other than you don't get any chests? I don't know. So I've not been too big of a hurry to grind that kind of stuff out. It may be something that adds up in your achievements and stuff, and I need to keep up with some of these stuff. Honestly, I've not even come in here to look to see what they have. Some of them reset week or monthly, some of them reset seasonally. So I don't know, different things. So it looks like we got some we need to come in here and claim in here. Let's see what we got. Look like most of that stuff's been claimed, so there's one there too. So yeah, I think it's just like the other pass, man. When you're buying it, when you pay that $20, you have to unlock that just like you do. A bait they're doing, I don't know. I know most of their passes, including the seasonal pass. If you buy the ultimate seasonal pass, you got to open that stuff up yourself. So, come on, it ain't gonna load up now. But yeah, so it's just like the other pass. You got to open those points up, and once you open up through the tiers, it's going to get you further. Now, one of the things that sucked for those of us who didn't get the pass is you still have to pay a token to move past that area. That's pass related, or as far as the ultimate unlimited related. So it kind of sucks on that, but. No, like I said, I'm kind of digging the torpedoes to a degree. I wish they maybe hit a little harder. So these are the events I was telling you about also, Darktide Lullabies. All these locations is where you're going to see these little things pop in. So up to you where you want to do them at. To me, it seems like there's not as many people over here running it, and there's not as many people over here running it. But it also doesn't have as many ships spawn to destroy, so something to keep in mind. But you can open up that currency. I think it's 5 is the minimum I've gotten, and in tier 2 you can get as many as 9 or 10 of those event currencies from each one of the ships that you sink. You'll be able to pull in silver, guild marks, etc., the basic stuff from that, and that'll give you some of those points that you need to get the one. Make sure that you pick up the hourly event here from Blackwood, guys, before you run that. That way you can get the free flares. So it's called the Veneration. And he also has Ancestry Daily, which is just running the big spectral ships and stuff. So defeating the Weeping Mother. Yeah, so there's quite a bit of stuff. It's not really even full fleets. It's just ships that are spawning in to come in waves. And some of them will be 1 to 2 ships, and then you'll get like a larger ship. The larger ships pay out a little bit better on the currency, so that works out pretty nice too. So, but yeah, so that's kind of what you do. You grab those, or you can use your guild marks. Now, the area that you're going to spend these are not at Unita. I mentioned that. I think I mentioned that in the video, but if not, we're going to show you where it's at now. So you're going to go to Talak Panjara, and there's actually a shrine that you got to go to, and there's someone sitting there mumbling the whole time. I recommend you mute your speaker unless you just want to hear him mumble for a while you're looking at the store. But I wanted to come over here and check the store out anyway. I don't have enough points to buy anything at the moment. But yep, it's over by the refinery. So we're seeing a lot of these dead zones that we were looking at year 1, and a lot of them are starting to fill out. So one of the things I do is I will buy these here for guild marks just because, hey, why not? And then there are a few items you could get. You get that deep iron, the deep iron plates as well. I've just been buying these Hellgate Serpents. And like I said, I buy the 1,000-point ones simply because they stack. I don't have to deal with a bunch of these Ascended Event Cache weapons lining up, cluttering up my inventory. So that's one of the things that can drive you nuts. But like I say, a lot of ships we can come in and let me look at my stuff here. I think I got several. I can still move some of these weapons too. Yeah, so I got quite a few 14s. I've even got a 13, so I can always move some weapons around, throw them on the ships. At the very least, they're there to pick stuff up. I try to build ships out so that they're usable and ready for combat, but that doesn't always happen. Everything that's a 15 has been completely gone through and it's ready for combat in some form. Now, my 14s, they're just randomly holding weapons at, and some of the 13s. So I got to go through and work on that a little bit. But we're coming along. Like I say, it just gets so freaking expensive with the silver. So, which was a question someone had asked. And I know I've shared this on videos many times, but where do I get all my silver from? Well, it comes from just working Helm. I mean, you keep this stuff running. The exotic, it's limited to how much currency you have, I believe. I don't think there's an hourly limit on anything in there that I'm aware of. I don't stack my currency high enough to see if it's something that's got a limit on it. But if it was, it would be hourly. But I don't think there's any limit. I think it's just based off currency, guys. But there could be an upper limit of 3 or 4, and then you have to wait an hour. Yeah, so I run a lot of these supply roving deals here. I also will run a lot of forts. I haven't ran forts since the patch. I'll probably do that later today and test a lot of these plunders. Oh, no, it's not like Blackwood where you got to wait a week between your purchases. No, definitely not. It is more expensive than Blackwood, though, I'm sure. But yeah, so these forts, I need to get back and see if they've got them fixed. I know that they were working on some of that stuff, but I didn't see anything directly mentioning that they worked on these forts. So I haven't really taken the time to try it yet, just because I'm was really wanting to hit that event. Usually that first 24 hours is when you get your best drop rates out of an event. So I've just kind of been focusing in on that off and on all day yesterday and dropping out those Hell's Gate Serpents and even some of the new furnitures, and bought a few things in that new store. But now I can kind of pull back over to my my Helm. I need to go ahead and load up. I don't think I've got any materials because I've not ran Helm in a couple days. Let's go check. I have a few things to upgrade here. Yeah, so that was one things I thought had been hearing that the fort, like I say, I don't bother with the raw material, this raw jade. And one of the things I noticed is the Imperial jade, whether it's raw or carved, it never pays. To me, it doesn't pay out what it costs in silver to convert that stuff. So just stick to your opium and your snuff when you're building stuff over here, unless they fix something or change something. All right, so that's got that. I need to go over there to Talak. I'm sorry, to here. So one of the other things I had been doing too is just grabbing not just the roving missions where you would deliver to your skull products to get pieces of 8. You could actually load up those other ones where you would like go to an island and meet and then buy the stuff and all that, and you end up getting Il's fleets to follow you, and various fleets, not just Il fleets, but the different fleet types. So I think that's something that's new. Used to we could actually just fast travel to those island locations, a standard order location, but now we travel there. Like this would have an Orca fleet, and this one here would have a Worms fleet. Then we would have the roving, which would give us a Worms fleet and a Gannet's fleet. And while you're traveling around, just anywhere you go, anything you do, now you cannot fast travel once you pick all this stuff up, but anywhere you go, just sailing around, you're going to be destroying those fleets like crazy, and that's going to give you a lot of your materials. Now, there's that way, which pays pretty good over time if you're getting good spawn rates. Now, one of the things I noticed is they kind of slowed down those spawn rates last week or last couple weeks. So one of the things I've been doing is, well, of course, it wouldn't show any. One of the things I like to do over here is wait for the hostile takeovers to come up, whether it's solo, PvP. I'll run solo first, and I'll jump into the PvP. Whether someone's in it or not, I don't even care. Right now, I'm just on the Helm grind. And, of course, buying the buyout locations like this right here. And I'll show you why real quick. So we're part of this. We're not going to fast travel. We're going to come and fast travel this way. And when we come over here, we're going to get these gilded chests because we already own all the territories. And once I get the gilded chests and I open it up, I'm getting anywhere from 150 to 200 Helm materials now. So essentially, you're just converting whatever type of material it is to get that chest. You're converting that over to Helm materials for silver. Okay, you got to be kidding me. Man, I hate these islands. I always get lost on this crap. I will have to check the phone. I missed your comment, man. Give me just a second here. I apologize if I'm missing comments, guys. Let's see here. Get this open back up here. Oh, yeah, the takeover upgrades. So you can get the upgrades for takeovers and stuff. So my takeovers and stuff, I'm at level 5 on everything already. So I kind of had stopped doing all that stuff. But when I realized that you're getting a lot of Helm materials, let's go over here to this overseas smuggler here. Now, if we didn't own the location, we would be able to buy this, and it would take and, obviously give us the location or upgrade your location. But since we own everything, got all that, we can spend our steel ingots, which is, from what I'm to the understanding, probably one of the materials it sounds like is going to get removed. But like I said, don't go get rid of your materials. Just don't bother getting a lot of them saved up because they're still good for these buyouts. So once you get your buyout there, we're going to come in here. We're going to open this up, see what we can get. And I have been getting, so we got 170 poppy there. And then we got 181 tobacco. So there's some snuff and opium right there. So that's going to work out for me on that aspect. So that's one of the things I also do a lot of. Like I say, though, right now there are some good drop rates, guys. There really are for the materials coming out of this event. So I would highly recommend that you run that event. But yeah, so that's kind of what I do. And like I say, when I find something that works for me, I let people know. Now, one of the things that I have noticed that backfires, and I'm sure other people, it's not just that people have seen the video, but typically when I put out a video is whatever event thing I've been running for a while, I'll notice that more people start running it after I put a video out, and that's cool. Hopefully that means that, the word gets around, because that's what put the video out to help everyone. But man, it makes for an interesting conversation or a interesting encounter every time you go to jump into a hostile PvP, because they're going to fight you for it, because they're just like me, needing those Helm materials. And to me, I've been really enjoying that aspect of the game. It seems like it's come alive a little more. I did try to get into Death Tides today, and that's it's not something I run a lot of, but when I jumped in, I never could connect with anything. Now, I thought they had some bots running at one time. I was pretty sure, because I always saw the same people. But like I said, I sat there for like 8 minutes and never could connect. So I don't know exactly what's going on with that. The battle or just lasting that long, and there just isn't that many people in the events, or if no one's joining up on that thing at all. I have no idea. And like I said, I wasn't really big into PvP, but I'd heard that they was doing some pretty interesting things over there, and I was like, well, I have to jump over and check it out, because they've been doing some work on it, and they've got their own pass over there too. So I thought, that could be a way to grind out some more materials or something. Just it's another aspect of the game to grind. And when I went over to it and never could join up with it, I was like, well, okay. And it could just be because it was in the middle of the night. I don't usually do streams this early, but I've done them in the mornings, I've done them in the evenings, I've done them in the midday, and I'm just kind of trying to test out to see what works best for the viewers, because I want them, everyone to have a chance to talk, be heard, get questions asked, and if I don't have the answer, guys, I apologize. I can usually fake my way through some of the stuff, but a lot of it is just going to be luck that you do in the game. But when it comes to silver and stuff like that, that was one of the earliest currencies that we needed to be able to really contrive a lot of. And after some, things that happened last year in some of the earlier seasons 1, 2, and 3 with currencies and stuff, it was one of those things where it kind of left us sitting. The greatest pirate you've ever seen. You've been looking in the mirror again, haven't you? Got to be looking in the mirror. But yeah, so I think like I said, I try to put out that information for anybody that can get it. But early on, man, I remember I used to be like high rolling. I think I got silver now. I've been through 3 resets. It's crazy. But yeah, so well, 2 resets I should say, not 3, because 2 of them was silver, one of them was piece of 8 stuff. And actually, really, when you look at how they used to do the seasons, it was actually more than 1 or 2 resets of 8s, man. It was crazy there for a while, but it seems like they got things balanced in. And I try not to pass some of my pessimism on, but man, I get kind of nervous sometimes when they're like, oh yeah, we're never going to reset your helm again. And I'm sitting there and I'm doing it. I'm like, yeah, well, I've kind of heard that before. And it never, well, I won't say never. It usually, when you hear things like that, it don't happen again. Kickstarter trailer for Ahoy. I've never even heard of Ahoy. I'm not even sure what Kickstart is, man. I'll be honest with you. I'm Gen X. I don't keep up with a lot of that stuff. There's a lot of new stuff out there. It's new tech on the sandbuck. So I haven't released a video, but I'm playing around with something. So with the sandbuck now, I've got to go and check the actual stats out. But if you look at some of the basic weapons in the game that have an attribute of fire, obviously you would throw it on the sandbuck. Well, this new Hell's Gate Serpent torpedo. Now, keep in mind the sandbuck is, sometimes it can be hard to keep her afloat, but you got a burning 2 perk on that. If you put amplified burning on all of those areas with the burning perk, or a firepower amplification on that torpedo, you could really add something pretty sweet to that. And then of course you'd be getting that ablaze effect. Sandbuck works great for anything that's fire rated damage. So then you would be getting those hills coming in off the Hell's Gate Serpent. So that's kind of something I'm playing around with. I don't know exactly how it's going to work out yet, but like I said, I haven't put a video out because it's still in the infant stage. I've given it some thought, but it could be something that you maybe something in there that you. I don't think it'll let you post the link there, man. Pretty sure I've got it set up where links don't go out, but you can send it to me via the my web page. You can look under my information here on YouTube, and it's got where I actually have a page. I update it at least once a month with what's going on with Skull and Bones. It's all written stuff. I like to do the written updates versus the video updates and stuff, but there are people who would rather hear it than read it, so we do the video updates here. You get quite a bit more of them here than you do over there, but yeah, so you can check that link over there on the main hub on my YouTube channel there. But yeah, so they I think that we might be able to use those torpedoes on that sandbuck is kind of what I'm hoping. Don't know for sure. I'm gonna play around with it. I wasn't going to say anything about it, but Benji asked about the sandbuck, man. I had to share it. Like saying it may turn out to be a totally bogus crap build, but I don't think so. I think it's going to work out pretty good. It's going to give us some range. It's going to give us some healing. Now, will it be completely overpowered? Oh, absolutely not. Will it be as powerful as like the Ash Breakers? I don't expect them to hit as hard as the Ash Breakers, but that hill effect is going to be what sells it, And like I say, man, my Rama's Legacies, they hit way harder than this. So I will probably see what I can roll. I don't know. I've not decided yet. I don't know if I'm going to keep those on this ship or not. They do have flooding and fire, so I could potentially try them on the sandbuck and even on the brigantine, because both of those amplify those elementals. And it should be able to give me a pretty good idea of whether or not it would work decent on it or not. But I don't want to roll too much stuff on weapons, because one of the things I want to do with those is I'm keeping the set back for the Sloop of War, because I want to put poison damage on those things, guys. Now I know that they have the Blight, I think it's the Blight Master, the Blight something, I don't know, I forget what it's called, but it's going to be a torpedo that has poison damage. But imagine this the poison damage lingering. It's doing the damage and stuff like that, plus the damage from the actual torpedo itself, plus this heal factor on there. That could work pretty good. I don't know. I'm gonna save a set just to play around with that as well later. But those are just a few things that I'm looking for. Now that I've said that, I'll probably start seeing a bunch of build videos popping up all over the internet of the builds we discussed. But hey, man, that's one of the things that when you share that information, you can find out pretty quick at someone else's silver whether or not it works. So I try to look at builds that interest me and show, here's what it does. And I'll be honest with you, but yeah, man, the Hell's Gate Serpent Torpedo, not the hardest hitting. It's not even the second hardest hitting in the game. Obviously, the Dahaka's Rim and Legacy are your better aspects, but for that heal value, man, it's hard to beat right now with getting that extra heal. So I think I've got all my 8 locations picked up here. I usually try to get this stuff done before a video if I can, but it gets done when it gets done, you know what I mean? Alright, let's get everything funded real quick. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up some Helm materials maybe. Or I could switch into my Fort Buster and do some of these hostels. Because I've gotten quite a few of the new torpedoes and stuff. But yeah, so I did want to get on here and kind of show that. But also encourage you on this Helm thing here. Make sure that you get this slot here, manufacturer fortification. Get that taken care of. Because like I say, I've been getting notifications in game about successful defenses. And I've not been running the defenses. So my guess is that they're actually just, running the defense without me there, and it pays you out if it wins, good. If not, then hey, you ain't gonna get anything, I don't guess. So you've been getting them too. So okay, so maybe it's one of those things where it's running. It could just be a UI fault, man. I don't know. Yeah, like I say, it's hard to say, and I don't want to sound like I'm trying to bash or anything, but it could just be a UI fault. Now, one of the things that I did do here recently is I came in and I messed with a bunch of settings, and I don't know exactly how these settings are going to play out in the long haul, but I've messed something up in here. So there's a couple things that I wish was still here, and then a couple things that I'm still trying to get rid of. So one of the things I got rid of was coming down through here, I got rid of the call for help. So I'm going to turn this off. There is also one in here that shows your loot widget. So you can turn this off if you want to, but then you don't see what you're getting loot-wise. But you can always check your cargo hold. It's just less stuff flashing on. So I tried it with it off, but I may leave it on there. Quest objective, I had turned this off at one time, but it is nice to be able to pop that up pretty quick. So I don't know. I'm not sure if I want to take it off there yet or not. Group widget I left on. You can put on a wind indicator if you want to. There's just a lot of different things in there that you can do. You can turn off your name labels where you don't see people's names. You can do your distance labels, and there's a lot of different aspects that you can do in the game. But like I said, I think right now I'm just going to turn off the help on it, but it still does pop up missions, but you don't see that call for help. Now, if you're the type of person that likes to show up and help on events, do not turn that off because you won't see the help calls go out. Now, I'm sure I'll catch some slack later from folks about, oh, well, you don't help anybody. Well, it's not that I don't help anybody. It's just when I'm playing the game, I don't want to see help popping up on, a Fort de Lis thing. You need help with Fort de Lis. I mean, I'm sorry for you, man. But I know that's kind of bad to be that way. But, yeah, so then like Sermons, he always likes to help these people. So it gives you materials and stuff like that. So if you're running that as part of your grind, then you definitely don't want to turn that off. But I get so grind oriented. Now there are times where I'll come in and jump in Discord and pick someone who's new to the game or something and try to catch them all the way up and get them up to at least about where I'm at. Now I'm not going to come in and just give a bunch of stuff over. I don't do that anymore. But one of the things I do like to do is try to help people grind that want to grind and they want to jump in. They can usually get in there pretty good. Go to journal and find. Yeah, so that's another thing. You don't have to have the pop up in the middle of the screen. You can simply come over here to the journal and you can tab through this stuff and you can find people asking for help in various different types of. So right here, one of the things that's interesting, you can do quick play, which would be You can play with your normal ships and stuff like that you've built, guys, in Darktides, and then they have quick play. Now, when I went into it, I went to go into the preset ship only because I want to see what was going on, and there was nobody like joining up. I didn't get joined to anything, so there may still be some people in quick play. I don't know yet, and I may go over there and start grinding on that a little bit. I'm still trying to get this freaking thing here done. I've not figured out the best way to grind this crap, to be honest with you. It's just taking forever to get these 500 event points each time. So it takes 500 points to get a token to move on, and it's just frustrating. So I'm guessing the events are, I don't know. Like I said, I'm not sure how many event points we're getting per event. I guess I could jump over and hit that boss and see exactly what we're getting there. We was at 452, I believe it was. So we'll come down here and pop this buoy. Now, I've been traveling around with this new Spirit Caller buoy. I've got to say, I'm kind of digging it. Now, it's not the most powerful freaking weapon in the game, obviously, but the fact that it can do some extra damage and keep you ready to grind this stuff is not just tying up a spot on your ship. It's mostly what I'm kind of digging about it. It's not that it was a really big weapon to your arsenal by any means. So we throw it out. It automatically does damage anyway. But one of the cool things about it is the fact that... Now, one of the things, too, is we want to make sure we're not too close. Like I'm way too close here. Because the further away you are, the furnitures I'm using, plus the torpedo itself does more damage, which then does more healing, too. Man, he likes to space himself just right. They're putting out 1,054 damage without electricity, so that's not bad. But man, I'm actually kind of surprised that I don't have a bunch of people popping up, man. When I've been running this earlier today, everyone in the world would pop up, and it'd take forever to run through this mission here. You do not want to get stuck in the middle of those buoys, guys. Now the trick to these is you want to put out as many torpedoes as you can, just keep them pumping, because obviously the more damage you're doing, the more heals you've got coming in. If you're picking two small shots, or you've got a ton of people in the way, man, it can make it a very ineffective weapon very quickly. We're a little close to that buoy. Away from that lantern. Yeah, so this is the Hellfest set. It runs all of season 1, it was running through the little cosmetics that they have for the week. So I don't know if it'll be back season 2 or not, but it was definitely something we had. I don't know. It seemed like it was, heck, the whole last half of season 1, maybe. We can look at the calendar and see what they got coming up pretty soon. I beat it before you got there, but I'll share your buoy. Yeah, so they do good damage. Like I said, it's not that they don't do any damage at all. It's just the third strongest torpedo, in my opinion, in the game. Maybe second place because of the fact that it does pretty good heals with it too. So, yeah, we'll run his stuff. Let's go ahead and see what we got in that box. Say yesterday it was dropping quite a bit of stuff. Chalet 3s. This is where I've been getting the Chalet 3s. Tier 2 is where I get all the ascended mess. But earlier yesterday, I had stacked about 12 chests, I guess, and ended up getting 4 of the new torpedoes and 3 of the furnitures, about 7, and then everything else I went ahead and bought. So, and that's really not bad for 12 runs. I mean, to actually get that many items that's usable. Always be mindful of the other person's buoy too when you're coming into an area with somebody, because if you destroy their buoy and you're not carrying any, I'm saying this to the guys who have been coming to battles to help and not bringing buoys. When you destroy the buoy, that it actually makes it so you can do damage to this guy, and we have to keep kicking out buoys. We do have a reload time on these things, so just watch your shots. Now, if you got a brig, you could probably really do some really good buoy damage and stuff with that stuff to keep the buoys popping. They have some furnitures for it as well. But you can use that furniture on any ship. Yeah, so just be careful with that. Just be careful using anything like that, man, that allows you to stack stuff like that, because they have a battle ice system in this game, and that's why one of the reasons, if they will always call that stuff an exploit later in the game. So just be careful using it, and definitely be careful sharing it with folks and stuff too, because it can actually cause bad things in the game where they come in and they start nerfing a bunch of weapons instead of realizing, oh wait, this is just something that's happening with this combination. They come in, they nerf a bunch of weapons first, and then they'll finally fix it, and it'll have already done all the damage it can do. So we've seen some pretty crazy things in the game. But yeah, if you've seen one, man, if you've seen some kind of setup like that, definitely make sure that you make a small video. Don't share it to the world, but send it over to the Ubisoft, what they call a little bug reporter. It's right there on the main screen. Yeah, I stopped even going to that stuff, man, to SMB Reddit. I even left the SMB Discord. I'd say when it comes to Discords, I only play in Banished Souls, man. I enjoy playing with the people there. Everyone always helps each other. We got quite a few new gamers coming in, or people that are new to gaming in general that came in for this game, and then people who have come over to play games with the community also. So. But again, it's mostly Gen X, so 18 and older. Not everybody's Gen X, but there's a lot of them that are. All right, we got to move a little further away because we're just a little closer than I'd like to be here. But again, keeping those torpedoes pumping, because that's where the heals are coming from. Now, if y'all notice, I just parked right in front of this guy right here. I recognized him from earlier when I was running, and he would come over and park right in front of my frigate. So it's like they say, stupid is as stupid does. I do the same stupid stuff you do to me. But that's just how I roll. Oh, let's get that last hit in for his ports. Yeah. And moving away from those, we don't want to get zapped. Where, oh, where did it go? Take out some of them darts, guys. Come on, man. Alright, here he's going to come. Call him into the open. The flash of arrow. I don't even make sense. Or unless he's a fashion arrow fan. They actually had some interesting shows used to come out on freaking Netflix, man. The Flash, the Arrow, all those, what is that, DC, I guess they are. They would be DC comics. They were actually kind of cool. But to me, man, and maybe it's just because of my age now, it's hard to beat Smallville, man. Smallville to me is, they did the best job on that stuff. All right. Go grab our chest here. The idea of the water spouts, oh yeah. That's going to be awesome. Well, it was actually in some of the early renditions of the game, along with the lightning strikes and stuff. And I'll be honest, I was kind of shocked when that stuff had been removed when the game initially released. It just kind of shocked me. It's like, wow, man, we kind of lost something. Then it kind of got used to the high waves. It's like, well, maybe, the lightning strikes would be cool. When they brought them back this year, you didn't used to have an indicator of where they were going to hit, like where it would show in the water. I guess they got to give you a way to dodge around that stuff, but to me, that dynamics, they could keep that thing where it's just randomly hitting. But you would be coming across in your medium ships, it would knock about half your health off. And a small ship, it would instantly fry you. You were gone. It just bust your mast to set you on fire, and you was done. So, but definitely looking forward to them adding that in. Looking forward to them adding in some of the other attributes of this game that's, we've been waiting on, the armor ascensions and being able to roll those percentages on our weapons. But yeah, so I'm kind of liking these torpedoes. Now, obviously we're in tier 1. We need to go back to tier 2, I guess. But like I say, depending on what I'm doing, if I'm looking for weapons, I don't go to tier 2 much, just because unless I'm looking for a specific weapon and I want to save some silver or whatever, I'm just kind of stocking at this point. And this way I can run this stuff and not have to worry about picking up an ascended weapon. But I know that's maybe sounds like something that shouldn't be an issue, but I hate wasting warehouse space. I really do. I kind of feel like I'm too full now. I mean, I think I like 418 slots or something like that. So that's quite a few I could play with. But I like to have like right around that 390 mark. So it's a little fuller than usual for me. But a lot of new stuff coming in, and I've got a lot of weapons I've been playing around with. I need to get those put on ships again. All right. Yeah, stressful before the kingpin status. Yeah, I can remember when I first tried to get across there with the Badar and got fried. I was like, oh man, this gonna be rough. Then I think I jumped in a Hulk and finally went over there and got the Patagon. And that was my first medium ship, and I was definitely happy with it. I loved it for a long time. But then I was like, well, I'll switch over to the Brigantine because it was faster. I had a Snow also. I liked the size and the health of it, but man, it was so slow compared to that other. We got some orchid mechanisms and ascension modules out of that. So it's not. I mean, you're getting stuff added to chests depending on what you're wanting to grind guys, you can you get quite a bit of stuff. Look here, coconuts. But yeah, I remember back when we didn't have 2 levels of the game, and really level 1 is easier than what it was. It's about the same. I don't think they've changed it. They've added some more challenge to level 2. It seems like a little bit better on some of the payouts. But I'll be completely honest. I've just not been. Yeah, once you get a stockpile of the masterwork kits and stuff, there's really not much any difference over there between what they're paying out for me to deal with the, taking 4 or 5 more times the ammunition to take out the same stuff for the same type of pay. I don't know. I know it doesn't really matter. I've got maxed out on this stuff, but it matters to me. I look at it that's why I've got so many numbers. I'm frugal with my stuff. Notice I said frugal and not cheap. It's the same difference. I remember the days of trying to muster together some cannonballs to go and run forts with the guys. You'd have to go out and run these freaking shipwrecks and stuff, get the materials. And a lot of times I ran bombards back then, and you'd be trading bombards with guys with cannonballs and all that kind of stuff. Hey, and just like that. Like I say, these still work out pretty good because they do whatever type of damage you add to it. They do a base damage, but I went ahead and I threw that electricity on there, and the not torpedoes, the buoys seem to work pretty good. Of course, they always dance around just behind it, hoping you'll do like that and shoot your own buoy. But he's pulling damage either way, so. Yeah, so you can find free weapons, or free ammo, I should say. Well, even weapons too, but a lot of your free ammos and stuff you can find at the little outposts and stuff. They'll have like little stacks of cannonballs and bombards and, even food and stuff like that. And done that back in the day too, like you were saying, man. Anything you can do to get ahead. But once you get up to those high numbers, one of the things I've noticed is it's only yours to lose after that, because I don't know what it is, but sometimes this game goes through where it will start dinging the crap out of warehouses and stuff. Not always, but it has done it a few times in this game. And again, that's something you're going to be seeing. As I was letting people know, don't get rid of stuff, but don't bother putting too much of a grind into some of those early items, like the mopine planks and the mopine wood and things like that. Ironwood's going to be gone. There will still be some like teak that'll be in there, green heart planks, stuff like that. You'll still be using those. Okay, apparently there's... Oh yeah, that was the Mazurja. We did have 2 events here, didn't we? There's a couple of, like I said, I don't know if they've fixed it or not. I'm not even sure. I don't think I've got anywhere near the platinum of treatment on this. There's one on Xbox that I can't seem to find. One I got to finish getting jute, and I hate collecting jute. That's got to be the most boring crap in the world. Collect 100,000 of that or something like that. And then there's one which I've gone to the location of, but for whatever reason, it doesn't want to complete on me. You come up in here with the dowel, and you got to explore this area here with that dowel, and then there's another one that comes through here with a dowel. And I don't think I've done this one. It's probably why it's not completing that last one. So that's something you got. Is it 10,000 jute? Yes. I mean, I know that I could just go collect the stuff, but I'm just going to wait for it to leave the game. But maybe I need to get it out of here, get it finished before the game takes that material out, because that might actually affect something here. So they said there were some things where they were working on some of the achievements that's supposed to happen in PlayStation, and that could be something that may be keeping you from that platinum status as of right now. But back in the day, I used to be a hound at trying to get that 100% completion. World of Warship Legends, I've been playing that thing for freaking years. I've opened up, well, withstanding the brand new ships that they just released into the game, opened up all the original warships that they had in that thing, man, and it takes you a while to scroll through all of them. The Apex Predators, yeah. That was fun. I used to go up, we used to do a lot of crocodile hunts, the saltwater crocs up through here. Back in the day when it was, a little bit heavier than it is now. I don't know that, which were just higher level weapons and stuff. Things tend to finish out a little easier for you. Where am I at? Okay, so it looks like we have this event here has popped back up. It's good for 14 minutes. So something I'm going to do is just start traveling that way. Like I say, we was out in the open waves. You got all the waves bouncing around in the storm and all, and even up by Talak Pandra. But one of the things I noticed is there's so many people, and this may not spawn as many ships, but there's usually not as many people over here. So you can get a few more of these ships in to get those points. And you've got like 15 minutes at the moment that the event starts. You'll have 15 minutes to focus in on them. You got to make sure you keep your buoy on so you can actually make it so these things are going to be able to be damaged. Immune? I don't think so. Oh, what a miss. I'm pretty sure that was a miss there, too. These freaking Badars are just such a pain. And they hang right around your buoy, too, knowing that if you just one missile, one of your torpedoes miss, it's going to destroy your buoy. Yeah, so that's one of the things that I thought they were going to work on, something where the ships couldn't come into certain areas below a certain rank. And then there was going to be something else having to do. They had to be at least a level 3 infamy, because they were running into a lot of issues with stuff. I had a lot of level 9s earlier today that don't even have the spring loader buoy. And they were popping up in the event down below, which, no, that's why it shouldn't, I guess, bother you. It is annoying because it scales it up, and then they're just destroying your buoys, and it's taking forever to take these things out because they're shooting your buoys, but whenever it comes time to shoot the lanterns, they're nowhere to be found. They all like run from the lanterns. It's like, shoot the lanterns, but they just don't know how to play. They're new guys, it's just that simple. Oh, what a big mess, man. But that's something we got to remind ourselves is, people don't, not all of them though. Now there are some who just do it just because they don't want to spend their materials and their ammo. They just pop a shot and then they like to grief. There's actually people that spend their time just trying to grief others in the game. They gave up a long time ago and they figure out a few of these things like shooting a buoy, and they'll just sit there and just grief players. And, that happens sometimes, but I'd like to think it's not the case in all situations, though. Now, I should have went ahead and picked up the mission from Blackwood. That's where I screwed up. I used to try to carry the missions for when this comes up. That way you can get those free buoys every hour. There's a bad miss right there. Really bad miss. I see the status damage going away, so it means he's out of a buoy where it's disappeared. I probably shot it when I missed earlier. There we go. Well, I know I hit that one. See, that's the thing that makes it frustrating. I mean, when you're shooting your own buoy, it sucks. But when you've got enough people kind of gomming around in the same area, it can get kind of hectic. Everyone hitting each other's buoys and stuff. People getting, loose tempers flying. I very rarely run things that match as far as all from the same set. I don't recall what I've got. I think I might have the Calypso set on here. But I used to actually run a couple different types of materials. Like I don't run any kind of cell emblems typically. Any ship showing a cell emblem is a ship I haven't used in, probably since season 2 of last year. One of the things I decided a long time ago is my pirate would match my gaming tag, the Cryptic Gaming. And with no face being shown and keeping a sail is Cryptic who's coming in. Obviously, it's a pirate ship, but you don't know under which flag it sails under, which captain it is, because there is nothing there. But it's kind of cool that you can make your own. Well, I say make your own. That we have some streamers that have their sails in the game. It gives me maybe some hope that they may let groups do their own. And even if they don't let the groups do their own, maybe we can, as individual pirates, come up with our own. I don't know. Let's hope. All right, so, like I say, when you start seeing a lot of extra people in the area, it can help with your spawn rate, but it can also hurt because then you're competing with other people for the few points that are straggling around. And as you can see, the areas, they do kind of play out after a while. There's a ship over here on the left. I ain't gonna lie though, I am kind of liking the kind of a light green with the red. I just don't see paying $20 for that. But I think the actual emissive is going to be a free one within the little system here. The pink stuff, yeah. So there's a lot of cosmetics I've seen come out. Like I say, this one here, it was actually for sale last year as a ship and a actual character. So I used a couple of the things from that. Well, I say a couple. I actually only used the arm pauldrons or gauntlets is all I used from that set, that Hellfest set, the heavy metal set. And then the original ship cosmetics they changed this year. I like the hull, and I like the emissive sails with the nice shine to the black. It's pretty similar to what you get from Roadman Godin up there, except the sails are a little shinier. They're not quite as worn down looking. But I'm hoping to see some even cooler cosmetics coming into the game. Like I'm guessing the DMC and the Campaign Royale. I imagine it'll be DMC Campaign Royale style cosmetics if I had to guess. But come back, I want to be your friend. There we go. the war drum shanties. I've heard a lot of people say they want more shanties. I'll be honest, I don't even hear my crew bark at all. I've got it turned off, so. Early in the game, it got on my nerves that every time you go into combat situation, they were screaming. You know, it's just, I don't know. I don't do well around all that screaming mess. They got too high strung, like, don't panic. It's like, you're the one's panicking. Chill out. All right, let's see what we got here. Like I said, I think all this is just garbage. Yeah, no, we actually got a ship here. He just spawned in. And we blew up our buoy. I might as well pick this mess up. Decent little area, but they never really quite put them where you're at. That's why I'm thinking about maybe switching into Badar, hit them with the buoy and ram them. It'll probably do damage a heck of a lot quicker. The riding on a donkey. Yeah, we had a guy in Discord who sang that song all the freaking time. No, I didn't get a shot in. Like I say, that's one of the things where it kind of sucks sometimes. But hey, man, you know, it's open game. People are allowed to get them. When is season 3 coming? Yeah, so season 3 is coming a week later than what they had originally figured, is the last I've heard on it. And I don't know if they've, let's see here, I don't know if they've added the extra week to the calendar yet or not. I know they was adding an extra week in here, so I don't know. We'll have to wait and see if that's coming up pretty soon. We're going to have a final guild mark, double guild mark on the 11th of October. So my guess is that's the end of the season because they did that last time. I don't know why they did that last time when they did that, because you're not allowed to carry guild mark between seasons. That is a currency that is definitely going to be resetting, they say. We didn't get to bring them into season 2, and they're supposed to have a way to exchange those for silver. That's not silver box related. My guess is you're going to do just like you did the Goofer bars and sell it. You need a... Man, how much longer do we have before these things phase out? About 2 minutes. That's the largest ship I've seen of that type. Punch it, man, punch it. I got to get back over there, see if I can get that thing. So we're picking up, it looks like 1 incense flare per ship too, whenever you do get them. You don't always get them. I was getting about 3, I think, in Tier 2. So you do have a little better drop rates for some of this stuff over in Tier 2, guys. But I do recommend that you run in whatever tier you feel comfortable in. Like I said, I used to do everything in Tier 2, and then it was just one... Well, that's obviously not the ship I'm looking for if it just got took out by a tower. Yeah, so I've heard that too. Like I say, most of that, I don't know how much of it's true. But I've heard a lot of stuff as far as that Black Flag is fixing to get a huge makeover. I say a makeover. They're going to come in. They're going to do a big boost to the graphics and stuff. Maybe add some extra missions to it, and essentially work it to where it's supposed to then encourage the players to come into this game. And that's where the rumors of it going from, I guess it'll be after Season 3, where it would go from being in Singapore to Montreal. So I like I said, I don't know for sure, but I've heard a lot of rumors that this game is once that Black Flag comes out for the remastered version, we're going to be seeing this game really start getting a lot of love once it gets turned away from that or gets released from that contract. Right now, there's only so much that the main hub of Ubisoft can do because the branches like Singapore stuff, they are free to do a lot of their own stuff now. While they do answer to the major corporation as well, a lot of what they do is their own stuff. So I just kind of got to wait and see what happens. I know that they had put out a thing that was talking about a lot of the different Ubisoft divisions that have had their fingers in some of the mix. Sound like there's about 6 or 7 of them, which is probably why we've seen the game heading in so many different directions for so long. But it seems to me that they're pulling it back in. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how it's going to work out. There's been so many rumors on how this stuff's going to happen. You know, but like that, like I say, it's always been rumor. I know they've had talked about originally it was just a 5-year contract, is what we heard, the 5-year contract. But it's actually a little more detailed than that. It's 3 years of new content has to come into the game while it's in Singapore. And then after that, the final 2 of the 5-year contract is that the servers have to stay over there, even after the content, if the content shifts after 3 years to somewhere else. But they don't have to actually make new content for it. If someone wants to add new content, I guess they can buy the rights to, or buy into some of the rights. That's where, like Tencent, from what I've heard, they put in like a pretty big investment in some stuff. Now, while this title was not one of the ones mentioned, it could potentially be something that they offer. I know Assassin's Creed was one of the titles that they got. So if they're trying to roll Black Flag and tie this into it somewhere or another, then that could actually put that under that Assassin's Creed hub. So, yeah, money walks. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. We see a lot of different stuff where they're looking at things. You know, when they remaster games, I'll be honest with you, I don't buy them. Uh, I've got Black Flag. I've played through it several times. It's a fun game, but I don't see buying the same game, even if it's got updated graphics. That's just me. If they tie it into the game, it increases it. That's great. If this game, after 5 years, if it's gone, then it's just gone. You know, I mean, it won't be the first game in a long list of games that's happened to. I hope it doesn't reach that fate, but you know, that comes down to the players, the player base. You know, if people move on, as of right now, this is the only really, in my opinion, the only viable pirate shooter game that's out here. And with them going to add the hand-to-hand and stuff like that later into the game and expand upon this stuff, it looks to me like there's a lot of growth that it can happen. Yeah, well, we'll see. I've heard that reinventing and remastering and all that mess in the past. It's just kind of, to me, it's just whatever it is. I mean, we've seen oh, what was it? The Elder Scroll game, Oblivion, come out recently. And hey, man, while it looks pretty good, like I said, I played it years ago, and just oh shoot, man, probably almost 20 years ago, if not longer. And Oblivion was probably one of the first major role play games I'd kind of gotten into back in the day. I liked it for what it was, and then I got into Elder Scrolls, just really digging deep into it. The Elder Scroll line, I played it religiously for a long time, working character builds and stuff. That was a lot of fun. But you know, I thought that this game here was going to be kind of getting into that, and it seems like we're tweaking into it slowly. Hoping to see more renditions of weapons and armors and stuff, though. To be honest, I mean, there's just so much more that they can do with this thing. But like I said, they just got to get it across the finish line. They don't want to release things out of the you know, the different types of whatever their pattern is. I have no clue what their pattern of release stuff is, but they have their way of doing things. I may end up buying some of that. I think I need to buy that Dark Iron actually in Red Isle here, if I'm not mistaken. I may have purchased it already. Let's see. I did not. Wow, that's crazy. So one things I am building up is my deep iron plate, stuff like that. So on occasion I will be throwing in that other grind to get my deep iron, but also it's a great way to get those guild marks hitting this here, guys. But I think I'm going to be hopping off here. I appreciate everyone that came in to check out the little viewing here, and I don't know. I will have to work on a schedule, see what seems to be doing. I'm doing some tests and stuff, but it seems like my early mornings seem to be hitting the heaviest, and then around 8 p.m. Central seems to work pretty good. So we may start doing a couple streams here during the weekdays, maybe potentially weekends. We'll just have to look, see how it's working out, guys. Definitely make sure you comment in on the comments and let me know what days, time type stuff works best for you. Weekends or weekdays, evenings, mornings, whatever. Try to work it out where the bulk of the players will be able to see what they want to see, guys. So we'll catch everyone later.